Are we
Live.
live?
We're live.
I'm in person.
Back in action. Last day of Q3.
Oh my God. Can you believe it? This year's
No,
gone by so fast.
so fast.
Oh man. Well, for those of you that haven't met us, I'm Alexis. I am the CEO and sales team leader at Accounting Therapy.
And I am Taylor. I am our integrator and operations director.
All right. And
Yeah.
today we're talking about the emotional side of entrepreneurship. I think it's something not a lot of people talk about, and everybody kind of lives in misery in their own little CEO world, or even not even CEO, just leadership. I think anybody in leadership kind of goes through these kind of things, if you will, but we are talking about entrepreneurs. So let's do it.
Let's do it. In fact, our tagline is what no one talks about. So
Yeah. So
here we
we'll be
are
the
talking
first.
about it.
Yeah, yeah. So I know one of the things we talked about yesterday was the roller coaster and kind of the roller coaster that goes with being a CEO and even people in leadership. I'm not going to exclude anybody else that is feeling these emotions, if you will. But you experienced the roller coaster, right? Do you feel it?
100%. I mean,
100%.
yeah, I mean, even here, but really like looking back on my time, like in my own entrepreneurship world, for 7 years, you're learning to ride this roller coaster. And I think the sooner you can figure out how to ride it, the better it goes. It just is, when you first start out, your highs are so high and your lows are so low.
Yep.
And it's yeah, it's challenging I think you just have to learn to kind of stay even keel and to know that, the low, yes, it's a low, but it also represents the opportunity to make
Always.
changes and improvements and make sure, you can put in steps and processes in place that it doesn't happen again.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are some of I have a couple ideas, but what are some of the roller coaster events that you think people can connect with that you've experienced and they may experience?
Yeah, for me, it was always cash flow.
Gosh, yeah.
Especially like in the apparel industry, it was just, you'd get these like massive orders in and you'd get this massive payment or advance on your order. And then it all just gets dispersed so quickly, and then you're back to having no money again. And so I think figuring out that, and really like when I started, I didn't know accounting at all. I took an accounting course in college and loved it, but like I didn't know what bookkeeping was. I didn't know what cash flow planning was. And very quickly I realized I needed something to help me forecast this. So like there was right the opportunity in the hole in the roller coaster, the down in the roller coaster of like, okay, I need something to help me manage this so that it's not just like, oh, we get this large chunk of money in and great, we pay this next person, but it's like, oh, actually these things are in the pipeline, we have to guard and
Yeah.
spread this out. Or so cash flow is definitely like my ongoing roller coaster.
My biggest roller coaster, especially being in the sales, department and managing all the sales and whatnot, is it's like capacity. It's like, does the team have capacity? It's like, oh, the team has so much capacity. Let's push more deals. And then you start pushing deals and it's like, oh, we got to make sure the team doesn't get overloaded. So what do we do there? So that's probably my biggest thing is that the capacity part of it is that roller coaster of we have a whole lot of work and we need more work, and we have a whole lot of work and we need more. I think anybody in the service-based industry can relate to that one. But I think that's probably a big one. Just having the time, figuring out how much time you have and are going to have in the future. And it's funny when you were talking about cash flow and you said the word forecast, I'm like, I need a forecast machine for capacity. Like, can we do
Yeah.
that? And it's, as much as we try and I think everybody out there in the service-based world can relate, as much as you try to say, this is how much time I'm going to have available, and when you feel it with the project, and then another project poof appears and you're like, crap, okay, now I got to get this one done. How am I going to do this? So that's probably my biggest roller coaster on the day-to-day, at least. There are definitely others.
Yeah. And I think one thing that ends up happening on that specific roller coaster is like you know, if especially if you have a team that you're typically delegating work to, you tend to step in and take on that capacity, right? If it's too much for your team, you're
Yeah.
alleviating those struggles. And then you find yourself in this season where you're working all of the time.
Yep.
And then in the seasons where you're trying to drive sales and maybe don't have as much incoming business and you have open capacity on your team, maybe you're not working, you feel like you're not working enough.
Yeah.
And it's like, then it's managing that roller coaster of like, well, do I work 50 hours a week or am I working 30 hours a week? And I think even knowing like those seasons ebb and flow too, and just
Yeah.
being comfortable where you're at because it's going to change.
Yeah. Speaking of change, another roller coaster that I think everybody is on right now is the changes that are happening in our administration. We have this new big, beautiful bill that's affecting businesses. We have the tariffs that are affecting most businesses. So those kinds of things too. It's like some people may be on the upswing of that one. Some people may be on the downswing. It's like there's always roller coasters. It's just trying to foresee where the roller coaster is going to take you and be prepared to either go up or go down.
Yeah.
That's probably like the biggest part. So we talked about case studies, and we were trying to come up with an example of a case study that we had. So 2023, and I don't remember if it was first quarter or if it was the first month of the year. I don't remember what it was, but we lost 7 clients in a very short amount of time. And while it was terrifying as they were calling and canceling and explaining why, and generally it had to do with, finance and whatnot, but it was terrifying. So, there's the shoot down. But then when we got to the bottom and it was like, hey, we have an opening here. We see there's a problem and we have the ability to fix it. So that's really where you jumped in and you're like, okay, we got to come up with a process for this.
Yeah, for sure. And the one thing to keep in mind with when you're creating these processes to solve problems too is like they're going to work for a period of time. And then by the time you get through like 5 other problems and processes solved, like the first one's going to break again because you've outgrown that solution.
Yep.
So that's something too. It's like your roller coaster is going to come back around and that first problem you're going to have to solve again, but for like the new version of you and your business.
Yeah, it's so
And
fun.
that's just how it goes.
It's so fun. You
But
can't
it's good
just
because it's a sign of growth, right?
for sure. Yeah. I guess that would be like if you want to set it and forget it, you're kind of just going to stay on that even keel thing. Well, I mean, sometimes I would love to just set it and forget it, but the roller coaster does not allow for that.
Uh,
Oh man. All right. What else do we got in here? We talked about the
imposter syndrome.
yeah.
Yes.
That's a big one.
Huge. Oh my gosh. When we started our apparel business, I remember it was like in the heyday of like Etsy first coming out.
Mhm.
And we came from, my business partner and I at the time, like came from this background of like more mass production. We were doing, production of like 5,000 units of things overseas and whatnot. And so then we start our own business and it's 2 of us. We're 25 and 26. And we tell people we have an apparel business and they're like, oh, so you're sewing things. And we're like, no. Like that's so far, it's these like large scale volume orders. And I think the other part of that too was like, we were kind of feeling imposter syndrome from people placing this perception on us of like,
Yeah.
you're young, you're doing this out of your house. Like, how could you know what you're doing? And like us being insecure of like not really knowing how to tell people what we were doing or not being confident in that.
Yeah.
And so sometimes people would ask us like, "Oh, what are you guys doing now?" And it's like we would just start laughing and like giggling because like we didn't know how to describe it. And so I think for me in that position, it was figuring out how to define our elevator pitch and feel it very like deliver it confidently, regardless of how confident I actually felt. Um,
Yeah. Just pretend. Fake it till you make it.
Totally. Yeah. But that was super helpful for me to have kind of a script to tell people about my business where it wasn't like, oh, we just started a clothing line and we're sewing things in our bedrooms, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I can relate to the age thing because, as you know, I started doing this at 17, and there'd be this kid walking into an office like, this girl's going to take care of my finances. Like, I can totally relate to
With
that.
the tie-dye shirt and the
And
long hair.
and probably a pair of flip-flops. But yeah, I mean, I can totally relate to the age thing. But I just walked in there, and my mom used to always tell me, just pretend you know more than they do. And that's what I would do. I would just tell myself, like, I know more. I know more. I might not have, but I just faked it till I made it. So, but one of the things that you brought up yesterday, which I thought was pretty powerful, is, what was it? Everybody.
Everybody does it for the first time at least at once,
Yeah.
right? Like when you've started a business, you have never started it before. And everyone who has started a business or been in a CEO role or been in an operations role at one time, they were doing it for the first time. And
Yep.
so you look, I mean, you learn on the job. Of course, different life experiences or work experiences can help train you to get there. But there is going to come a point where you are learning by doing. And
That's how I learned
remember
everything.
that, you know,
Yeah.
Steve Jobs started somewhere. He
Yeah.
didn't start at the top.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. And he had to crawl his way up for sure. Another thing that I will add for imposter syndrome, which has really helped me, is find your people. Find the people around you. I have friends in the industry that are like, that put me on this pedestal, and I still do not feel like I belong on that pedestal, but at least it helps me, like, okay, I can do this. I can do this thing. This person who I hold on a pedestal, you know, thinks that I can do this. So I must be able to do this. So finding your people, and creating the community around you to support you, and give you either guidance or whatever it might be, but just the push of confidence, finding your people can definitely help with imposter syndrome as well, for sure.
Yeah. So let's dig into that community a little bit more. I
Okay.
think the road of entrepreneurship or leadership is very lonely, and can be very lonely. Tell us more about how you found your people and what it did for you and the benefits and all of that.
So I have a friend that I met at an accounting conference, oh my gosh, 20 years ago, maybe. And, we kept in contact at conferences and whatnot. And I ran into him in 2019, and he said, hey, I started this group. It's a bunch of people in the accounting industry. We just get together and we just talk about all the crazy stuff that happens, solve problems together, whatever it might be. So I joined this group, and uh, it's Roundtable Labs. If for any of you accountants out there, check out Roundtable Labs. It is the greatest group. I just love it to death. But in any event, just having that community to be able to bounce things off people, or say, hey, I have this client and I have no idea how to deal with this. And instead of struggling through all the things alone, in reference to loneliness, doing all of these things alone, having the ability to reach out to somebody and say, here's my struggle. This is what I'm stuck on. Give me some guidance. Help me out. Give me a point of reference, something like that. So I don't even know what to say in regards to, you just gotta find your people. And for the accountants out there, I'm a big fan of Roundtable Labs. Taylor, I know you have a group that you work with.
Shout out to Thrival. My
Yeah.
Thrival community. Yeah, and so like I'll dig into a little bit of like the isolation really that comes
Mm.
with not having this group because like the apparel industry, I mean, me hopefully it's changed now. Geez, I guess that I closed the company in 2019, so it's been a minute. But there wasn't anything like this, or at least anything like that that I knew of at that time. And, there's each industry has so many nuances. And yes, of course, people in, similar subsets of industries or like service based or product based, like I'm sure you can all relate in some capacity. But if you can truly find people that are in your maybe a little bit broader niche, it's so helpful because they have a base level understanding of what you do. And so you're not explaining, the nuances of whatever industry you're in to get that general feedback. And so for me, when we had the apparel business, it would be like, well, okay, how do you finance this order? Oh, there's PO financing. Like it took us years to figure that out. We didn't know that. And so had we had this group to kind of bounce ideas or like, what are you guys doing for marketing? And finding a group that you can be really transparent with
Yeah.
too is so important because a lot of people come to these or come to certain things with like a closed fist, right? They're not wanting to give up their information. Um, and like our mentality and the mentality of Thrival and the mentality of Roundtable Labs is like there's enough business for everybody. And
Mhm.
like if you can open your world and share your feedback and your experiences, you're going to get 10 times that in return.
Absolutely.
So finding that community and like if your industry doesn't have one and you know a couple cool business owners or leaders and parallel businesses, start one yourself. Do
Yeah.
a monthly Zoom hour meeting just to connect and like talk shop. You will be shocked how much you get out of it.
Yep. I just got chills thinking about it. It
I
is.
remember
It's a
actually one time we did like Dave Ramsey's Entre Leadership program, and they had something like this, but we were paired up in a small group with like a guy that like repaired vacuum cleaners and then like maybe an accounting agent like business or something. It was just a bunch of different like industries, and so when we would come to the table with our problems, people just did not understand at all, and it was really challenging. I mean, they meant well, of course, but like a lot of solutions that they could offer really just didn't fit our business model. So it is not to like diss on Entre Leadership. It was an amazing program, and I have so much respect for Dave Ramsey and all that he does. But um, anyway, so
find your people.
find your people.
Find your people. And if you can't find your people, create something. Create something. Even if it's just business owners, even if you start with just that, and then you can kind of expand on it. But yeah, definitely find your people. Okay.
We
Shall
talked
we?
a little bit about transparency
Yeah.
in that, finding your group of people that you can be transparent with. Let's talk a little bit more about the value of transparency and vulnerability.
Yeah. So this is for me, and I know this is not common, so I'm not going to say like, oh, you should just go do this. But for me, it is really easy to open up and tell people I am stressed out. I am hating this. I am doing great. I have, all this energy to do this creative thing. I'm a really open person. So take that with, however you like it. But having the ability to be transparent and vulnerable with not only your team, but your peers and also your family will just create so much peace in your head. Being able to say, hey, honey, I cannot even imagine sitting down and having dinner with you right now because I'm so stressed out and all I want to do is go to bed instead of faking it through a dinner and being miserable and them being uncomfortable. because they can clearly tell something's wrong, is it's so much easier just to be out there, be honest, be real about what's happening in your world. It creates openness for your brain to be able to say, okay, turn this off. I can turn that off. I don't have to fake it in this, whatever it might be. So it's that part is easy for me. Is that easy for you, Tay? Being
Yeah, I'm like similarly a very open person. I wear my feelings for the most part on my sleeve, and I will tell the person at the bus stop what is going on in my life. Unfortunate for them sometimes. But so that part does come easy, but as you were talking about I realized something that did not so much come easy for me. And it was easy to share the challenges I was going through, whether they be, cash flow or production or whatever. But something that wasn't easy for me was, how do I was, I being honest about some of the feelings I was having. And as the business grew and cash flow became more and more of a pain point and fell on my shoulders to manage, I really was not happy, and I didn't like what we were doing. There was tension between my business partner and I. Um, and being open and vulnerable in those ways for me at that point in my life was not easy. And some of it would have been like me taking responsibility for things that maybe I wasn't doing optimally or didn't know how to do, weaknesses on my end in skill sets that I just didn't have or didn't know how to develop. But then also being able to have that open and honest conversation with my business partner about things that maybe she wasn't doing optimally or things we were letting fall through the cracks. For me, that was really, I didn't, oh, I didn't talk about those things. So it kept building and building and building until all of a sudden it just was this like constant rock in my stomach. And I finally got to a breaking point where I just said, I can't do it anymore.
Do you think, not to go backwards in topic, but do you think part of that had to do with imposter syndrome? Do you think like, I don't want to talk about this because I'm not sure if am I supposed to know what I'm feeling or doing or whatever? Do you think that was part of it? Or do you think it was just,
Maybe. I think too, yeah, yeah, actually, that's a really good point. Because you are running this business, you should know the things,
yeah.
right? Like you should already have the knowledge to be CEO or whatever the heck your title is.
Yep.
And in
Yep.
all honesty, you don't, especially if I was 25, I'd worked at one company beforehand,
Yeah. You guys
I
jumped
did
in.
not have the skill sets or the knowledge or the tools to have those proactive conversations. And so to me, I wasn't willing to admit to myself
Yeah.
that I was impersonating this thing that I was not.
The CEO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think if I had been able to be more vulnerable in that capacity and maybe admit that I, didn't have those, or we didn't have those, or we needed something else to help us through, I
Yeah.
think maybe things could have ended up differently.
Absolutely.
So
So
the
go.
other thing to just keep in mind because I know not everybody is an oversharer like Alexis and I. Um, but my husband is one of those people, which is why we balance each other well. But what I always like tell him or tell whoever this person is like, you also never know when you're talking to the right person, right? Like putting it out there in the world, and you don't have to, share your most intimate business details, but hey, we're struggling in this realm. You never know who you're talking to. They
Yeah,
may be able to help you. They may know somebody that is able to help you.
that
So
is a great
sharing can
point.
be so powerful in that way. And just don't miss out on opportunities because you're not willing to, to say, hey, it's not all rainbows and butterflies. I'm actually struggling.
Yeah, and I'm not perfect. Shocker, you know?
Wait, you're not?
I don't have all the answers. Can you believe it? Oh man. So, the vulnerabilities, like in communicating with family, like, is that something that you see as valuable in, your feelings and whatnot regarding the business?
Yeah, for sure. I think that your it directly impacts you. You spend a lot of your day dealing with work. I mean, especially if it's a business you own or lead,
Yeah.
it's going to directly affect your state of mind. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, being open and honest about where you are. I mean, when we were kind of going through talking points yesterday, and you said, letting your husband know I'm brain dead. And so it was like last night at dinner, I was like, yeah, I'm brain dead. I've been staring at Excel spreadsheets all day
I
working on
did
this
the same
project.
thing.
So I'm going to be pretty brain dead this week.
Yeah. Yeah. I sent
But
my
yeah,
husband a text last night saying the same thing. Like, honey, when you get home, I'm sorry. I will probably be asleep.
yeah, I think also letting people know when you just need to vent and you don't want feedback.
Yeah,
When
that's a
you
good
do
point.
want to talk through a problem, I think that can be helpful too, so that, that person, that support person in your life can come and respond to you in a way that you're willing to receive at that time.
Yeah. Okay, so we have about 5 minutes left. I'm feeling like we might start making these longer because I feel like we never get through all the things we want to talk about. But so, what is some practical advice for people that are feeling imposter syndrome, for people that are feeling overwhelmed, for people who are feeling that they can't necessarily get their emotions out regarding, their entrepreneurship? What would you advise people to do in going through all of this emotional stuff?
Yeah, so my answer to this is also going to help with our one talking point we didn't get to, which was burnout.
Oh,
Um,
valid.
so when you are starting to feel that overwhelm, to feel that burnout, um, step away and take what EOS, on the entrepreneurial operating system, which I'm pretty sure we've probably mentioned in every webinar today. Take what they call a clarity break and get all of the stuff out of your head, whether it's personal, whether it's business, whether it's whatever. Just get it out of your head and onto a list. I like Excel because I am an Excel crazy person, but also because you can drag and drop and easily manipulate your list, right? So like you get it all onto one list, and then you can make sub lists like, okay, this is work, this is personal, this has to do with my cat, and make these lists. And then you can kind of group things together. Okay, this is a project, this is a project. These can all be done in certain elements, and prioritize and try to pick the things that maybe aren't the easiest, but are going to move you ahead with the biggest impact or solve the most problems, on an ongoing way, in an
Yeah.
ongoing way.
You know how I am with my calendar. So I would say the next thing is to now put it on your calendar and
Yeah.
say, I am blocked. I'm going to do these things that will make me feel better because I have it on my list and this is my priority. Like, get it on your calendar and tell people no when they want to interrupt it so you can have your sanity back.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. All right. Anything else that we want to dig in on this? Any other thoughts while overnight or while we were chatting?
No, I'll just say a few more things on the whole burnout thing, but
Yeah.
don't be afraid to step away. Their problems are going to be there when you get back. And sometimes pushing through isn't the answer. Sometimes you have to. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes you absolutely have to push through that burnout. But then step away because your brain needs a break and you're going to come back thinking clearer.
And be more efficient and all the things. It's hard to work when you're broken.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, burnout is real. I just took a vacation this weekend because I was done. I was burnt out. I needed it. I needed a
I
couple
saw
days.
that. I was like, where is she driving to?
I went to the river,
Wow, I was very
hung out in the
jealous.
sunshine and did nothing. But yeah. So, anywho, I think that's all we
Um,
have for now, right?
It is. Just a quick shout out for next month. We will be doing a pre-recorded webinar. So Alexis and I will be at Intuit Connect, and we'll be interviewing some of our favorite apps that are client facing. So apps that we love and support, but that really can help you and your business be a little bit more streamlined. Or so join us next time. Let's see, what's my date? October 28th at 12:30 p.m. Pacific. And it will be pre-recorded, but you can always send us follow-up questions if you have any, or outreach to us if you're interested in any apps. So we're going to be actually interviewing the vendors from the vendor floor at QuickBooks on our iPhones. So
be prepared for the adventure.
be prepared.
All right, Tay, I will see you later. Thank you guys all for hanging out and checking out the emotional side of being an entrepreneur. And then we'll see you guys next month.